Hello, my name is Godfrey Dias and welcome to Invents Skelta. The aim of this demonstration is to highlight the Skelta's capabilities of integrating with the .NET application. The highlights are as follows. Um, Capturing data from an AXPX page and passing it on to a Skelta workflow, triggering a workflow, taking actions on tasks using ASPX pages, take actions on tasks through email, monitor the workflow instances, and rendering Skelta's control inside a .NET application. Now we can use an example to do this task. Uh, Here's where a user would log into the application and he would apply for leave and submit it. And then a workflow instance would be triggered. A task is then sent to a manager for his approval, and if the leave days of are greater than 15, the task automatically moves to the HR manager for further approval. After approval from the managers, the database is updated and the applicant gets an email saying his leave is approved. What I'll do now is I'll just go into the application, and this is the application which has been developed inside a in ASP.NET, and it is developed using Visual Studio 2010, and it is developed in .NET Framework 3.5. It's as you can see here, it's been developed in .NET Framework 3.5. So what I'll do is I'll first log into this application as one of the users, that's Kevin. And here when I log in, I can go and apply for a leave. So when I click on the leave option, I get this ASPX page then displayed on here, where I go and fill in my details. Now let me tell you something about this ASPX page. I'll just go to the Visual Studio Project Explorer, and this is the page, leave request form. And if you can see the design over here, I have the employee ID, the name, and if I just go to the code file, you can see here that on the submit button, I'm capturing all the data from the text box controls and passing it on to the workflow variables. So this is how I'll capture the data from an ASPX page and pass it on to the workflow variable collection object. And then I would create an instance of the workflow over here by giving the repository name and giving the workflow name. And then I would execute and trigger the workflow by the username and by passing the workflow collection object. So thereby I would trigger the workflow. So if I just go to the ASPX page and enter the details of the user, Kevin, casual, I will just go and fill the from and two dates and just give comments or the reason for the leave. I would say submit, and once I say submit, all the data from this ASPX page is captured and sent to the workflow, and the workflow is triggered. Once I say submit, you can see I receive a message on the ASPX page saying successful submitted your leave request. And then I would just log out and log in as John Smith. So John Smith happens to be the manager, and he also happens to be the administrator on Skelta, and that's the reason John gets to see the BAM, that's the Business Activity Monitoring System. So if I just click on the Business Activity Monitoring System, here is where you can render a Skelta control on an ASPX page. This is the monitoring system. If I would show this ASPX page to you, this is the BAM page. If I just click on this, this is just a panel control that I have, and if I just right click and go to the code, inside the code I would be instantiating the BAM control, And once I have the BAM control, I would just pass who the user is who has logged in, and this being John Smith, it would give him the rights to view the BAM. So this is the BAM, and if I would just double click on this, it will give me a pictorial description of where now the control is waiting at, or what's the current status of the workflow. As you can see here, the green mark, the green highlighted line says that this is the path that it has taken. This is the place that Kevin had submitted the request, and it has started there and come here and is waiting at this activity, that's the manager approval activity. If I would just click on this, and it will give me step details of what is the current situation at this activity. It says that the actor named John Smith has been identified to take part in the approval, in this approval. So I'll just close this, and since I've already logged in as John, I'll just go to his inbox, and this is the inbox that is rendered. So you have seen the BAM, and now this is the inbox. So the inbox is also similarly being displayed or rendered onto the ASPX page as has been the BAM. If I just go to the Visual Studio and show you that this is the inbox page, and if I just go, it's something very similar to what has been done in the BAM page. We have a panel, and if I just go inside the code of this page, it will just show me that I had logged in as this user. I'm capturing the session object and then instantiating the work item list control, and then passing the relevant parameters to render the inbox onto the page. So now that I have come onto the page, this is the task that's been shown inside the inbox, and as John Smith, I would want to open the page since this task has come to me, and then take action. So this is taking action from the ASPX page. I will just click on this, and this will open to me an ASPX page of the task that John has to act on. As you can see here, the data that Kevin had filled has come onto this ASPX page, and this is the form. This is the form meant for the manager to view and then go ahead and approve or reject the leave of Kevin. If I just go to the Visual Studio, and then I will show you the manager approval form. The manager approval form page has the same structure as the leave application, leave request form. It has employee ID, name, etc. And if I would just go to the code, inside the page load, I have the work item adapter being instantiated, and I get the current context of the workflows, current item. I get the execution ID and get all the data that had been passed to the workflow, and then I get the data and populate the text box and the other controls inside the manager approval form. So once I get the data being populated onto the ASPX page, on the approval button, I again instantiate the work item adapter, and if there's any data that's there on the ASPX page, I pass it on back to the workflows variables, and this is the current work items variables. I just pass it on if I need to. It may be some remarks or maybe some other data that I might have changed, but as in this case I have not changed since it's a leave application. And then I submit this current work item, and then I pass the parameter as approved. So once I say submit and say approved, this task has been approved when I click on the approval button. But when I click on the reject button, I could perform the same task and pass the parameter as rejected, and this current work item would submit as rejected. So now I'll just go to the form, the manager approval form, and I say approve. So once I click on this, you can see the annual days is 15, and the data has gone out of the inbox. If I just go to the process view and I just say refresh, it'll now show me the refresh page, and it'll show me the path that the workflow has taken. And this is the checkbox which says the total leaves are greater than 15. So this decision says that it has to go to the human resource manager, and the human resource manager, if I just double click, is Monica Dale, who will be taking part in this action. And what I'll do now is Monica could log into this application from the .NET application and take action. If I log in as Monica, as you can see, Monica is not the administrator, is just a human resource manager, and so she's will not have the rights to see the business activity model system, but just the inbox. If I just go to the inbox and if I just open this, you can see the task has come here. Monica could open the task from here and approve it. This is a similar ASPX page as it is for the manager. Same ASPX page is available for the human resource manager as well. But what I'll do is I'll just go to the in Outlook, and this is Monica's Outlook inbox, and Monica could take action from her email as well. If I would just go and show you, the task has come inside Monica's inbox inside the Outlook, and then Monica could just click on the link, and the task would be open here as well. So you can see the same ASPX page has been rendered, and this link has been opened from the email. So Monica could go ahead, and as you can see here down is the audit trail that has been listed on. That's it has been submitted by Kevin, it's pending, and it has been approved by John. And as this is happening, this data is coming from the database. Now if I just go to the database, this is the data that has been entered inside the database. Now that John Smith had approved the data, approved the leave application, the data has come inside the database and the status is in progress. So the leave has not yet been approved because it's still lying with the HR manager, that is Monica, and only after Monica approves it is when this becomes the status becomes as approved. So Monica has opened the task from the email and will approve from the email. So I'll just go and type as approved, and once Monica says approved, the task gets moves out of the inbox. So I'll just close this, and you can see the task has moved actually ahead, but if the email is still inside the inbox, if the user would try to again approve it, Skelta would identify this and say that this work item has already been submitted. So there's duplicating the task has been avoided. And now if I just go to the process flow and I just say refresh, you can see here now the HR has approved it, and then an email has been sent to Kevin saying that your leave has been approved. This is an analyst view which avoids all the other technical activities. If I just go to the progress view, it will show me in depth all the activities that I had used for this workflow process. This activity is used for the database, where the data would be populated to the database automatically using the workflow activity, the database activity. Emails would be sent using this email activity. Decisions would be taken using the decision box. So likewise, this workflow has been designed for a leave approval process. And now that Kevin has been approved of his leave, this data has gone and sat inside the database, and the workflow is finished. So let us go to the inbox, and let's go to Kevin's inbox, and if I just go here and refresh it, here Kevin receives an email saying that your vacation has been approved. So and if I just go to the database now, this is showing in progress. So if I refresh the database, you can see here now the status is approved. So this status has been approved after the human resource manager has approved it. So after the human resource manager has approved, I'm using this database activity to approve the data and then update the data inside the database as approved and send an email notification to Kevin, and then it goes and updates the timestamp inside the database. So this is how a simple approval could be made using ASPX pages inside a .NET application. So this was the demonstrate how Skelta can be integrated inside a .NET application. Thank you very much for your time. For any queries, you can contact Nicholas, or you can contact me as well. Um, Thank you very much for your time.